Hey mate, look! I got a quest cape!
Yeah, that's cool and all, but I am busy grinding.
But you wish to hear how I got it?
I really do not care to hear it. Leave me alone.
Oh man, that's a bummer. I'm sure this NPC wants to hear my story.
Oh god, someone, please save me.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the third part of my RuneScape series. In this episode I'll be talking about my experience with obtaining the quest cape. Now I think it's safe to say that I wasn't really into the questing like many other people. I mean, I wasn't that interested outside from the rewards they give. But one day in Falador I was doing a hard clue scroll and the lady wanted me to play Lament for the Hallowed. And obviously I wasn't quite fond of having to do it because, let's be real, Mauritania quests really suck. But as I sat down and started doing the quest, I got really interested. Because for the first time, a Mauritania quest line made me care about what's going on. The story was so excellent. The boss fights were amazing and the music is one of the best the game can offer. I really fell in love with the storyline, so I wanted to do more quests. And so I did few more, and as I started focusing more on the storylines, I wanted to do two quests that interested me the most. Dragon Slayer 2 and Monkey Madness 2. After beating them, I knew the next stop must be the quest cape. I started doing quests that were fun and not so fun. Desert quests suck. They don't offer you anything interesting and the desert overall is a boring place. But as you know, if I wanted a quest cape, I gotta do them too. Hey mate, have you heard of this amazing plugin that helps with quests?
No trash, and I do not care to hear about it. I am busy.
But for real, you should hear about Quest Helper.
I do not care.
What made them more bearable is Quest Helper, which is actually a saver. No more need to switch around Wiki and the game. Now you can focus on questing, and the HD plugin is awesome too. I wonder how Jackets feels that their community makes better client than them. Troll quests are actually really fun, especially my arm quest. The humor in them is just the best. I love all the references, and making friends with my arm was one of, if not the funniest quest in the game. Just look at the final boss name, Mother's Left Fun. That is great. I won't spoil too much if you haven't done the quest, I highly recommend you do. But hey mate, I'm sure you are interested in hearing the music in the quest. They're really good, especially...
Go away.
Honestly, if there's one reason to experience quests, it is for the music. Because in old school exclusive quests, they're one of the best music the game has. I'll be playing few, so if you're not interested in listening to them, go to the timestamp showing up on the screen. Dream Tales exists, I guess. And of course, who will forget classic I Want to Die quests such as Monsters and Part 2. Part 1 was actually pretty fun, but holy shit, Part 2 sucked ass! It's way too long and the agility sections made me want to jump off a cliff multiple times, but thank God for the quest helper because it made this less cancerous. In preparation for Kingdom Divided quest, I went ahead and did all favors and quests in Koren, which went fine until Lovankeni. Shit was so slow to get favor and the quest in that region sucked too, but there I fixed the statue. So during summer Kingdom Divided got released and I was borrowing my gear to mate, so I had the quest in D-Hide. But I did pretty fine because for most part the quest wasn't hard, maybe the final boss was a bit challenging. It was just long because how much running around you had to do. While interesting, I think it wasn't that great. Don't get me wrong, it was a good quest but left a lot to be desired. Like doing a fetch quest after fetch quest isn't fun, especially in a big place like Kourend. But the final boss was neat and the cliffhanger wants me to see a sequel to this quest. But hey mate, are you sure you don't want to hear about the final quest I had to do? The Song of the Elves. It's an amazing quest.
For God's sake, trash, how hard is it you to understand to leave me alone to grind?
While I bitched that Dragon Slayer's full requirements took me long, Song of the Elves was different because you needed 8 different skills to be level 70. I wanted to leave it as the last quest because what I heard, the quest was really good and I wanted to have an epic conclusion for my journey. So I started grinding. I actually this time enjoy leveling agility because I had second monitor to watch something while jumping on roofs. Construction and herblore hurt me because they were so expensive to level up. I took small break with hunter and farming so the grind wasn't too bad. I had 70 woodcutting from Greentail so it was good, but mining drained my soul with every level I had to do. But smithing was easy, although a bit boring. Just a quick side rant, if I want to get my quest cape trimmed I have to do diaries and with that I need 85 mining and 91 rune crafting. I want to die. My expectations were too high for the quest because Monsters End Part 2 was cancer, but I was surprised how interesting it got. I got to experience another great story. I first had to get my wife out of jail, and yes, Elena has feelings towards you, so is officially my wife now. After getting her out of jail, I got to cause an insurrection and start a fucking uprising, storming the castle, and then the king was sentenced to death. Then some hooded fucks took us in front of Arved, the bad guy elf and his other bad guy elf friend. Aryavun and his friends came and rescued us and the bad guy tells us he will summon Seren, their god, back to this realm while Aryavun tells he is dumb because Seren is dead. But he is like, oh, I have broken into the library, fuck you! And he leaves. I then had to a meeting and had to go back to the backstory vaults where you visit during the waterfall quest for the juicy XP. After poking around stuff, it turns out backstory still lives, but he's so tired of living because his wife died and because of that, he won't be much of use, so we have to do everything again. I had to find some other lords and list them for help, and man, I hate this forest. There are fucking poison traps everywhere. I find this guy in Magic Land and this lady in a cave, and with the help of my awesome wife we go to probably the most memorable part of this quest, the Grand Library, or as I like to call it, Light Temple 2.0. I think this part would have sucked a lot not for the quest plugin, so this was quite an enjoyable experience. Unlocking Sears to uncover Seren's tragic past is so interesting, and what made this part even better was probably the best track in the game. Aside from She's Had It Too, not only highlighted its majestic yet sorrowful tone in the library, but it also reminded me that my journey is almost at an end. Easily one of the most atmospheric areas in the game. After unlocking the final memory, it turns out Seren created a dark fragment to try and counteract the curse. The curse being, elves will die if they are too far away from Seren, so she had to lock the fragment away due to it trying to kill the real Seren. After that I had another meeting and this asshole elf accused me of treason and wanted me locked up. Aryavun is in shock from what he learned from the library and puts backstory in charge while he probably goes to a corner and cries, I'm sure nothing bad won't happen. So after the meeting I had to find 2 other elf leaders, one from a tree and another one from a small island. After that I needed to recover an orb which is important or something. Later backstory says that the asshole elf is acting pretty sus and he might be an imposter, so I had to ask my wife did he see where he went, and she pointed out he went out of the village, so I had to use that 70 hunter to good use. I found the guy and accused him of being a traitor, but turns out he had an informant within the bad guy's clan and my guy is like, alright. That's neat, I guess. The informant elf says that you guys are fucked because turns out we had a traitor who informed the bad guy where the rebels hide at and he's going to attack. So the attack starts and I have to save some kids before Aryavun shows up telling he is the traitor and they have one of the kids as hostage, so we have to give the orb. And the asshole gets mad and dies while attacking Esud. the other bad guy. And then we get a pretty emotional boss battle against Aryavun. He wasn't too hard to kill, but he did have certain attacks that hurt a lot. After the battle, I had a funeral for the asshole elf. We all know that the bad guy elf will go through the underground pass, so backstory sends me to get 2 more elves and then go to the pass to defend it. I like how it all goes back to the underground's past dark phase, because this place is very memorable for its hellish agility obstacles. I set up some defenses and traps, and then the bad guy and Aryavun came there, and we had a chat about Seren being evil and stuff like that, but it didn't work and awesome fight started. I had to defend the gate for 4 minutes or otherwise it will be game over. I just can't stop gushing about the music in this quest. After 4 minutes, the army got through the gate, and while the other bad guy was approaching, my wife tried to stop him, and he almost killed her. Because he dared to touch my fucking wife, I showed him no mercy. After killing the 4chan user, the bad guy got through the crevice to the temple, so I quickly checked if my wife was okay and followed Aryavun and backstory. The bad guy manages to free Fragment of Seren, the fragment that was told in the memories. Aryavun hopes that the bad guy is okay in the head, so he shoots him, and then the fragment thinks I'm here to kill her, so she tracks me to her realm and the final battle starts. Fragment of Seren isn't really hard, it's just tricky to have enough HP to not dive to her constantly hitting attacks. This fight is also amazing. She keeps saying stuff that real Seren said to her, and she's very sad and confused. This isn't a fight where you are defending the world against true evil like Galvek in Dragon Slayer 2, or trying to stop a really racist gnome from causing genocide. You're killing a fragment of a goddess who is hurt and misunderstood. But because she misunderstood you as Seren's servant, she wants to kill you, so you have no choice but to defeat her. And the music perfectly describes the fight for this. After you defeat her, the bad guy is devastated that she died and said he hopes we are happy that we killed her before he dies to his injuries. After the fight, you are escorted to the gates of Crystal City with Elena and Aryavun. I thank him for stopping the bad guy, but he stated that he had to, and he could come see the Crystal City for what he did to the rebel base. So me and my wife go through the gates and are welcome as the first humans to visit the city. Song of the Elves, Dragon Slayer 2, Monkey Madness 2, Kingdom Divided, and Sins of the Father are the reason why old school should have quests more often. There have been more plans to release more quests, and please, do not try to pull them, just put them into the game. I want more of this masterpiece of storytelling, because RuneScape has such a perfect world to tell stories about. It's funny, it's tragic, it's breathtaking. I have to update my favorite quest list to include this in. Thank you old school team for making this amazing quest. Just add an option to replay them so I can beat the shit out of Glug again. Please mate, why won't you listen?
You see, Trash, after being stuck in the army for half a year, I want to now focus on my grinds and getting the fire cape as well. If you came a bit later, I would have gladly listened to them.
Oh, my bad. Do you want to hear about my journey now?
Well, if you are this excited about it, then sure.